Friends, good morning. So every Wednesday during Lent, as a school, we gather here on the Wednesday afternoons to pray together the what? If you know it, shout it out. The Stations of the Cross, right? We move through the story of Jesus' passion, his death, and his burial, right? We focus on these moments of the passion. And yesterday when we were praying the stations, there was a word that just kept leaping out to me as we were praying them. There was a word that we hear over and over and over again throughout the stations. We hear about Jesus being obedient to his Father, that he obeyed his Father. He did this in obedience, all of these things. And in fact, we hear that same word in our first reading from the prophet Jeremiah, this word obedience, right? Talking about obeying, all of these things. What does the word obedience mean? What does it mean to obey? All the way in the back. Maria, what does it mean to obey? Nice and loud. To follow the rules. Good. Anybody else want to add to that? Yeah. Okay, someone else. Give me one more. Right here. To never disobey. I like that response. Okay, good. Obedience means to respond, to follow the rules, to do what you're supposed to do, all of those things, right? If I'm asked to do this, if I'm obedient, I will do it, right? That's what it means. The word itself, this is fascinating, the word itself comes from the Latin word obedire. Let me hear you say obedire. 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 What does that mean? It means, obedire means to listen. So the root of obedience is listening. So to obey, to be obedient, means to listen and respond. It means to listen and respond. Say listen. Say respond. That's the heart of obedience. It's to first listen and respond. And what's breaking God's heart in this first reading that we have from Jeremiah, what's breaking his heart is the fact that his people, that he loves, that he's done so much for them, right? He's freed them from slavery in Egypt. He's brought them to the promised land. He's filled their life with blessing upon blessing. And this is what he says. They obeyed not, nor did they pay heed. They walked in the hardness of their evil hearts and turned their backs, not their faces to me, right? If I'm turning, like if Addison right here is God, if I'm turning my back to her, I'm just going, I'm not listening to her, I'm not facing her, I'm not coming back to her, right? He's saying they've turned their backs to me, not their faces. To turn our faces back to God is saying, I want to pay attention to you. I want to hear you, right? This is what's breaking God's heart about his people, that they're not listening, they're not obeying. And listen, like God's rules, God's laws, God's voice, it's not a voice that wants to constrict us or take life from us. It's a voice that wants to give us life, to make our lives flourish, to make our lives better and more beautiful. He's saying, I wish that you would obey, because if you did, your life would be magnified, your life would be more beautiful. So God says to the prophet Jeremiah, I want you to tell the people this. Say to them, this is the nation that does not listen to the voice of the Lord its God or take correction. This is the nation that doesn't listen to the voice of the Lord its God or take correction. Friends, during Lent, one of the things we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be examining, reflecting on our hearts, reflecting on our relationship with the Lord. And this is an examination of conscience for every one of us in church this morning. Like, what would the Lord say to the teachers of Sacred Heart? Like, would he say, like, these are the teachers that listen to the voice of the Lord its God and take correction? What would he say to the 8th graders? Or 7th graders, 6th graders, or middle schoolers? These are the middle schoolers. Do they listen to the voice of the Lord their God and take correction? What about our 5th and 4th graders? Are these the 5th and 4th graders who listen to the voice of the Lord their God and take correction? What about our 3rd and 2nd and 1st graders? These are the ones who, do they listen to the voice of the Lord their God and take correction? What about our kindergartners? Do we listen to the voice of God and take correction? To our parents and grandparents, like, are we the parents that listen to the voice of the Lord our God and take correction? Like, are we listening is the question. Friends, our relationship with the Lord, it begins first with listening. Listening. You cannot have a relationship with someone if you do not choose to listen to them or take correction. So I want us to just have a brief examination of conscience with this reading today to reflect on where we are. Like, are we in fact the kind of school that is listening to the voice of the Lord our God? Or are we a school that's ignoring the voice of the Lord our God? Like, again, he's speaking these words to his chosen people whom he loves because he wants relationship. He wants to bless. He wants their lives to be beautiful. This is what he wants for us. But it begins with listening. And it also begins with taking correction. So, friends, we have to listen. Amen.